Introduction of our textbook History and Political Science Part 1. Hi friends. Your social studies subject is divided into two parts. First part is History and Political Science and second one is Geography. Today I am going to introduce to you History and Political Science. First, we are introducing your textbook. You can see your syllabus of history is divided into 7 units and 9 chapters. First unit is critical summary of history from ancient to modern period. This unit is divided into two parts: historiography, development in the West, and historiography, Indian tradition. These two chapters are related with this unit. Second unit is applied history. Applied history is the theme of your syllabus and textbook. And third chapter is related with this unit. Third one is mass media and history. Mass media and history, chapter number 5, is related with this unit. Fourth unit is entertainment media and history. Sixth chapter is related with this. Unit number 5, art, sports, literature and history. This unit is divided into two parts. Chapter number 4, history of Indian arts, and chapter number 7, sports and history. Sixth one is tourism and history, and the 8th chapter is contained same. 7 and last unit is history and other disciplines, and chapter number 9, heritage management, is related with this. Now I am going to introduce your political science syllabus. The working of constitution is the main theme of your subject. This syllabus is divided into 6 units and 5 chapters. First unit is working of the constitution. Chapter number 1, working of the constitution, is related with this unit. Second chapter, the electoral process, is mentioned in unit number 2, the electoral process. Unit number 3 and 4. These units are political parties. And chapter number 3 is mentioned in both of the units. Fifth one is social and political movements. Chapter number 4, social and political movements, is mentioned in this unit. Unit number 6, challenges faced by Indian democracy, and chapter number 5, challenges faced by Indian democracy, is related with this unit. So total 6 units and 5 chapters are in your political science syllabus. Now we are going to introduce your history textbook chapter wise. Now see, the first chapter is historiography, development in the West. Through this chapter we think about the Western traits of historiography. You know what is history, what is historiography. This is mentioned in this chapter. First of the chapter, here they clear the concept of history and historiography. The analysis of historiography, tradition of historiography as well as modern historiography is mentioned in this subject. Development of scientific perspective in Europe and historiography is explained in this subject. At last, notable scholars in Europe and US such as René Descartes, Voltaire, George William Friedrich Hegel, Leopold von Ranke and Karl Marx, as well as Michel Foucault, is mentioned in this chapter. The work of these scholars is also explained in details. Here they explain some schools such as annal schools as well as feminist historiography. Such a way, the trends in Europe and the West is mentioned in the first chapter. Now the second chapter of your textbook is Historiography Indian Tradition. You know, we have a great past. We have a great history. In this second lesson of your textbook, we take a review of tradition of Indian historiography, especially through the ages of ancient, medieval and modern period of Indian history. Now see, for rebuilding of ancient Indian history, we always depend on some archaeological sources. All of you know what are archaeological sources. Rebuilding of ancient Indian history, we use archaeological sources such as monuments, coins, inscriptions, seals, and other artifacts. We also depend on some written sources. They are also helpful to rebuild Indian history. What are written sources? Written sources like religious manuscripts such as Vedic, Buddhist and Jainist, as well as epics such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. Some biographies and travelers' record are the written or the literary sources of ancient Indian history. For rebuilding medieval Indian history, we used some archaeological sources such as inscriptions, copper plates, coins, relics of monuments. In the written sources, we use some books like Rajatarangini, Muslim rulers' records and Bakhar's the Marathi literature. In 20th century, during the British period, the archaeological exploration was started in India. In the same time, many ancient Indian sites were excavated. Do you know about Harappa and Mohenjo-daro? These ancient sites were excavated during this period. Many British officers wrote about Indian history. After that, we find various ideological frameworks in Indian historiography. In this reference, we can see colonial, orientalist, nationalistic trends of historiography. In the post-independent era, the historiography has been influenced mainly by three ideological schools. Which are those schools? Such as Marxist history, subaltern history, and feminist history. So, such a way, we study about the historiography, the Western tradition and Indian tradition. Now, we are going to the third chapter, Applied History. Applied history is the main concept of our syllabus and textbook. What is applied history? The application of history in our day-to-day life. Through this chapter, the concept of applied history or public history has been explained. And there is a relationship between history and other many subjects. Applied history is related with our present. In applied history, we also study many subjects such as philosophy, science, technology, industry and commerce, management study, arts and humanities. Even the relationship between applied history and our present has been explained in this chapter. Through this chapter, management of cultural and natural heritage and affiliated professionals field with applied history are also explained. Now see, Here you can see applied history and history related subjects such as philosophy, science, technology, industry and commerce, arts, management studies and humanities. Now see, the history of our heritage link our origin. Is it becomes necessary to preserve and conserve for our future? Yes, it is. The concept of heritage is related with cultural heritage and natural heritage. This is explained in your book. Cultural heritage is in the form of human creation. It is of two types, tangible and intangible. Natural heritage includes flora and fauna as well as ecology and geographic characteristics, which is crucial for sustaining the flora and fauna of a particular region. You know some heritage. History related professional fields such as museums and archives, the courses like museology and archaeology, preservation and conservation of historical sites, tourism and hospitality is the main field of history. Then entertainment and mass media are also mentioned in this topic. Now the fourth chapter is history of Indian art. In this chapter, first they explain what is art. There are two types of arts. One is visual art and second one is performing art. Folk styles and classical styles are two styles of any art. In Indian visual art, folk styles of paintings, for example, Warli paintings and Chitrakuti paintings. In classical types of painting, there are many styles such as miniature paintings, European style of painting and Maratha style paintings. Now see that folk style of sculptural art, classical styles of culture and Indian iconography is also included here. In architecture and sculpture, ancient Indian temples and caves architecture, medieval Indian Muslim style architecture, during the British period Indo-Gothic architecture, these styles are introducing here. In the tradition of performing art, we can see performing folk art and performing classical art. In the folk style of performing arts, we can see folk music, folk dance, folk musical instruments and folk drama. In the tradition of classical performing art, we can get any information about Natya Shastra, Hindustani music and Carnatic music as well as semi-classical tradition of music. Art, applied art and professional opportunities are also mentioned through this chapter. The fifth chapter is mass media and history. Through this chapter they mention the development of newspapers, periodics, radio and television. Now see, these are an essential part of our today's life. In the beginning of the concept of mass media has been explained. While explaining the history of mass media, the pioneer of newspapers such as Bengal Gazette, Darpan, Anglo-Marathi newspaper as well as Prabhakar. Whereas some magazines and journals has been mentioned here. Even there is a nice description of the development of Indian radio and television. In this chapter, we also touch the topic of need of mass media, critical understanding of the information received through mass media, and mass media and professional opportunities. The sixth chapter is entertainment and history. The need of entertainment is explained in the beginning of the chapter. We can get an information about folk theatre such as puppetry, Dashavatara, devotional songs like bhajans, kirtan, lalit and bharud, entertaining tradition like tamasha and povada. While giving an information about Marathi theatre, the description of early Marathi dramas of Vishnudas Bhave, the history of Marathi theatre in 19th and 20th century has been described here. We learn an interesting history of Indian film industry here. Here we get an information about the beginning of Indian cinema, earlier Indian movies and the technical development in film production. Such a way we can get an analytical and nice information about folk theatre, Marathi theatre and Indian film industry, the chapter entertainment and history. At last, we also get an information about entertainment and professional opportunities for a history student. Now, this is your favorite topic, sports and history. In the seventh chapter, we learn about sports and history. All of you know that sports are an essential part of our life. We have a necessary position of sports in our life. All of you know there are two types of sports and all we play. Indoor games and outdoor games. Sports competitions of various types is a worldwide phenomenon such as Olympics, Asian Games, World Cup cricket, etc. Today, the importance of sports has been increased on international level. Now, game materials and toys have an interesting history, and it is explained in this chapter. There are many types of sports literature and movies related with sports. All of you know about the Chak De India movie. Through this lesson, we take a review of the relationship between sports and history as well as discussed about sports and professional opportunities. Now the eighth chapter is tourism and history. There is close relation between tourism and history. In the beginning of the chapter, there is an information about the tourism tradition in our country as well as in the world. There are various kinds of tourism according to the location, such as local tourism, interstate tourism, and international tourism. And by its forms, there are many types of tourism such as historical tourism, geographic tourism, health tourism, agro-tourism, sports tourism, etc. It is need to conservation and preservation of heritage sites, historical places, and monuments for the development of tourism. There are so many professional opportunities in tourism and hospitality industry for the history student. At the end of this chapter, we take a trail of some tourist places of Maharashtra and take a review of development of tourism in Maharashtra. Bhilar, an unusual village of books, is the specialty of the Maharashtra Tourism Development Corporation and the tourism of Maharashtra, which is near Mahabaleshwar. The last chapter is heritage management. It is very important in history. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about sources of history and their conservation and preservation methods of various sources. In the beginning, there is a discussion about the concept of sources of history. Their types. What can we do for conservation and preservation of these sources? It is mentioned in this topic. There is a detailed discussion on oral, written, and material sources of history and the necessary training for their conservation and preservation. In this lesson, there is an information about libraries, museums, and archives. In the world, there are famous museums such as Louvre Museum, British Museum, and National Museum of Natural History in USA. You know, India has a great heritage. In India, there are also some famous museums like Indian Museum, National Museum, and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Museum, which is situated in Mumbai, Salarjung Museum, and the Calico Museum of Textile, Ahmedabad. There are many institutes who conduct courses in museology. All of you know that libraries are the main sources to getting the knowledge. Archives play main role in the conservation of historical documents. In India, many archives are established for the conservation of historical documents. All of you know about the encyclopedia. Do you know it? Encyclopedia is a systematic compilation of information of knowledge of various topics. Dictionary. Vishwakosh means comprehensive encyclopedia. Encyclopedic literature and indexes are main types of encyclopedia. Such a way, in this part, I take a review of your history syllabus. In the next part, I will go for political science syllabus as well as your paper pattern and your study pattern. Thank you. Introduction of our syllabus, part 2. Dear students, after getting an introduction about history syllabus, now we are moving towards political science. The working of the Constitution and Indian democracy is the basic theme of our textbook of political science. The first chapter is working of the Constitution. In this first lesson, we learn about working of the Constitution, our democracy, and take a review of the democracy, social justice and judicial system in the reference of India. In the beginning, we are thinking about the main features of Indian Constitution. This review will primarily focus on 3 areas: democracy, social justice, and judicial system of India. See, here you can see main features of Indian democracy. First is political maturity. Second one is right to vote. Third one is decentralization of democracy. And fourth one is right to information, that's called RTI. After thinking about democracy, we move towards social justice and equality. There are so much efforts has been done in our country for social justice and equality. For example, policy of reservation of seats, the Scheduled Caste and Tribes, Prevention of Atrocities Act, that's called Atrocity Act, provisions for minorities, and laws relating to women and provision for their representation. Now, role of judiciary is very important in Indian democracy. This is important in the reference of the basic framework of the Constitution. And second one is significant judicial decisions. And the role of judiciary is very important in Indian democracy. The detailed explanation has been given in the lesson. Second chapter, the electoral process. In this chapter, we learn about some concepts related with electoral process as well as the process of actual elections. The electoral process has a great contribution in the success of Indian democracy. In India, Election Commission is established for conducting elections. The role of Election Commission is very important in the electoral process. Now here, the functions of election commissions. First is preparing the voter list. Second one is decide the timetable and the program of elections. Third one is scrutiny of the applications of candidates. Next is give recognition to political parties and to resolve any disputes relating to the election. Now, we are thinking about Indian parliamentary system. There are 543 constituencies for Indian parliamentary elections. For free and fair elections, the Election Commission has adopted several measures, such as Code of Conduct. Now, in your textbook, there is a flow chart of process of elections. Here, we are going to discuss about it. The first is establishment of constituency. Second one is finalizing voters list. Third one is nominations of candidates and scrutiny of their nomination forms. Next is election campaign. The main part is actual voting. After that, counting of votes, results of elections, and last one is resolutions of disputes regarding the elections. The third chapter is political parties. In this chapter, first we learn the concept of political party, some important characteristics of political parties, changing nature of political party system in India, today's condition of political parties in India, and types of political parties of India. Here is a concept of political party is explained. When people form organization with the objective of achieving political power and participate in the electoral process, such organizations are called political parties. The another concept is political parties thus can be described as a group of people who aim to contest elections, win elections, and get power and establish the government of their parties. Now, after getting concept of political parties, we are going to learn important characteristics of political parties. What are these? To be in power, the first characteristic. Second one is to pursue an ideology. Every political party have a party agenda. Next is to establish a government. And final is to act as a link between the government and the people. Now, here is a box of changing nature of political party system in India. You may pause this video for few seconds and learn this box carefully or from your textbook. In India, we find two types of political parties. Those are our national parties and regional parties. The Election Commission has recognized some parties as a national parties. Now, we are going to see which are national parties in India. First is Indian National Congress, then कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया, भारतीय जनता पार्टी, कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया मार्क्सिस्ट, बहुजन समाज पार्टी, Nationalist Congress Party, and Trinamool Congress. These are nationalist parties in India. In some states or region of India, there are some regional parties also, such as Shiva Sena, Assam Gana Parishad, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, Shiromani Akali Dal, etc. The fourth chapter is social and political movements. In the beginning of the chapter, the concept of movement is explained. What is the concept of movement? A movement is a collective action. People's active participation is expected in the movement. The next is a movement can be formed when people come together in the interest of a particular issue. For example, pollution can be a single issue for which movement can be created. A movement has a particular social objective or a focused problem. For example, movement against corruption aim at ending corruption. A movement have a leadership. Leadership keep the movement active. A strong leadership make movement effective. These are points related with the concept of movement. Here is the concept map of important movements in India. Which are these movements? First is tribal movement, farmers movement, trade unions, women's movement, environment movement, and consumer movement. The explanation has been given in details in your textbook about these movements. See, the fifth chapter is challenges faced by Indian democracy. In the last lesson, we learned about challenges faced by Indian democracy. Democracy is a continuous living process. In the world, today every nation plays to be a democratic. Today, there are many challenges against the democratic system in the world. Now, here is a concept map of the challenges. See this. First is limited adoption of democracy. Next is threat of military rule. And the main challenge is to ensure that democracy becomes deep rooted. Now here we are going to learn some challenges before Indian democracy. There are so many challenges in front of Indian democracy. The first is corruption. It's a main challenge. Second one is communalism and terrorism. Third one is left extremist, that's called Naxalism. Criminalization of politics is also a challenge before Indian democracy, as well as some social challenges are in front of Indian democracy. Now in this chapter, we can see what steps should be taken to make Indian democracy successful. There are so much steps. See here. Though democracy is a government by majority, minority should also be included in the process of decision making. Judiciary system in India seem to be making conscious efforts to making political process transparent. Everyone at the social and individual level should make conscious effort to make democracy successful in India. To make Indian democracy truly successful, it is essential to increase participation of people at all levels. The value of equality, liberty, social justice, secularism should be respected and implemented even in our personal life. So such a way, there are 5 chapters in our political science syllabus. Now, I am introduce the SSC board exam pattern of history and political science. Now here is a marking distribution. See this table: question number, question pattern, marks and marks with option. The first question is objective type question. A. Choose the correct option from given option and complete the sentences. This question is carrying for 3 marks. B. Identify the wrong pairs in the following. This is also for 3 marks. From the second questions, there are some descriptive questions. A. Complete the following concept map or chart. 2 out of 3. It is a skill-based question. This question is carrying for 4 marks. B. Write short notes on 2 out of 3. This is a short answer question for 4 marks. Question number 3. Explain the following statements with reasons. 2 out of 4. And this question is carrying 4 marks. Question number 4. It's a different question. Read the following extract and answer the questions below. This question is carrying 4 marks, but there are 3 questions. First 2 questions are for 1 marks, and these are objective type questions, and next question is for 2 marks. It is a descriptive type question. Next is 5th question is answer the following question in details, 2 out of 4, and this question is carrying for 6 marks. So here is 5 questions for 28 marks on your history syllabus. Now, question number 6 to 9 are related with your political science syllabus. See question number 6. Choose the correct option from the given options and complete the sentences. This question is for carrying for 2 marks, and it's also an objective type question. 7th question is state the following statements, true or false. Give reasons for your answers. 2 out of 3. This question is carrying for 4 marks. 8 questions is divided into 2 parts. 8A. Explain the following concepts. 1 out of 2. And B is do as instructed. 1 out of 2. Both are for 2 marks. 9th question is answer in brief. 1 out of 2, and this question is carrying 2 marks. So 12 marks for political science syllabus. Now main question is in front of you, that is how to study our textbook. So I am going to tell some tricks how to study this textbook. How to study this book? See, there are some tips. The important thing is read the whole textbook at least 3 times in the year. Then, while reading the textbook, try to understand the content of the chapter. While reading the chapter, read all the boxes of every lesson. It may be for your questions. Then, underline the important points while reading the lesson. Remember some keywords while reading the lesson. And see, main thing is prepare all the questions from textual exercise. Now see, how to prepare questions and answers. See, While studying, read all the lessons in details. Try to understand the content of the lesson. Read carefully all the boxes given in the lesson. And the main technique is make a list of all the information given in the chapter, such as books and its authors, heritage sites and its locations, dance forms and states, etc. See, here is a table format of that. In the first column, there are some authors, and the second column, there are some books. See, René Descartes, the book is Discourse on the Method. Karl Marx, the book is Das Kapital. Kalhana, the book is Rajatarangini. Grand Duff, A History of Marathas. Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, The Indian War of Independence 1857. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Who Were the Shudras? And Tarabai Shinde, Stri Purush Tulna. This is the list of author and book. You may prepare the list and stick or paste it in front of your eyes that you can see every day. Here is also another table. Classical dance forms and regions and states. See, Launi is the dance form of Maharashtra. Odissi is for Odisha. Bharatnatyam in Tamil Nadu and Kathakali and Mohiniyattam in Kerala. Such a way, by preparing these charts, you can prepare for objective questions as well as do as directed type questions like concept map, etc. Now there are another tips. While studying the book, you prepare all concept maps of the content of the book. Then you can remember some diagrams. While preparing short answers, prepare comparative charts as well as reasons of any statement. Make comparative charts of some content such as folk art and classical art, indoor games and outdoor game, etc. While preparing long answers, there are some tips. Practice all the questions and answers from the book exercise. While writing answers, write introduction of the question in 2 or 3 lines. After that, you explain the main points in points and in subpoints. You can add some extra points in your answer with the help of your own knowledge for value addition. If you present main points in concept map form, your answer will be attractive. While preparing for personal response long questions, you prepare your answers in your own and suitable language and give their examples. Now see, while preparing for political science, again I am telling that read all lessons carefully. Try to understand the concept mentioned in the lesson as well as their examples. Prepare all the textual exercises. Prepare the content of the textbook in diagram, concept map and chart forms. Write down all the concept independently from the textbook. Now, here are some techniques for the study and planning of the study. See, read all the lessons in details and carefully and underline the main points. Make some charts, lists of the content on the full scape. or prepare a chart and paste it in front of your eyes. Prepare all the short and long answers in your own sentences. Revise all the chapters and questions and answers regularly. While revision, plan your time management, such as 5 minutes for objectives, 5 minutes for each short answer, and 10 minutes for long answers. Do a writing practice of these questions and answers. So, we take a review of your textbook. We also see your paper pattern and learn some techniques of study. Thank you.